This sucks.
For you.
Yes, for me. Why can't I beat you?
I think you know why.
Yeah, because my franchise goaltender is butt cheeks.
Oh, have you finally come to terms with that?
No, it hurt me just to say it.
Ah, that is fair. But no, I don't actually think that's the main reason.
Is it because my only superstar talent is an 18-year-old fresh from the draft?
Actually, yeah. I'm impressed that it only took you 2 guesses.
Thanks, I think. But seriously, is that really it?
Dude, yes, that is the reason. You went all in on a team that, granted, made the conference finals multiple times, but off of hard work and chemistry. Then you overcommitted to bottom 6 players while spending assets to bring in more talent, but the talent that you brought in didn't really fit the structure of anything you had actually built. Meaning you end up with a franchise that's completely rudderless, has no idea what play style they actually want to fulfill. Meanwhile, you're in the same cap situation as virtually every other team, so you don't get any advantage when you're trying to sign big free agents, which, let's be honest with ourselves, aren't going to want to come to Long Island anyway. You shot yourself in the foot, bandaged it, and then shot yourself in the other one.
So I need to go get more grinders.
That's the lesson you took from that?
Yup, thank you so much.
This is what happens when I try to help. I am way too nice to these guys. Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team that is a dub. Marat Khusnutdinov, baby. We're going to talk about some center depth later in this video, but Marat Khusnutdinov. 1C, by the way. Let's just do this now. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. Guys, Khusnutdinov stuff. I'm not going to go back on something, but I found something really interesting here because don't take this as me pretending that I didn't say what I previously said. I don't like when people do that. I will forget about takes, and you guys will be able to call me on that often enough that I don't need to lie about stuff. So I flat out said after the preseason, I don't think Khusnutdinov made the team. And I made the point that it looks like they were considering him for the 4th line, and it didn't make any sense to me because he's not a 4th line type player. Which, again, not taking anything back because I was wrong about him not making the team, especially with how he's been performing. Him being scratched multiple times this season already is just like hilarious now that you look at this. But B, the other side of this is if you were going to utilize him, his skill set to me was like, well, he's top 9. Now, did I think he was a 1C? No. And is he a 1C? Probably not. But it's fascinating how quickly he has just taken this season over from a Bruins fan perspective. Of being, well, this is the guy right now. This is the guy. We love to make our Morgan Geeky jokes, the elite key. Pasternak's obviously the dude. Swayman has to be great in net, which he had an up and down kind of day. But it's so fascinating that the young player that we got super excited about just ends up being Khusnutdinov. And he's a 1C right now for this team. And it's working for the most part. I mean, that line really struggled for a lot of this game, but not really because of Khusnutdinov. It's so cool. It's just so cool. And we talked about it in previous videos about the likability of the team and building upon that. This is likable. This is refreshing. And it's impacting wins. There's just so much to love about him. And he's 23 years old. And right now he's 1C. Imagine if he long-term pans out as a true top 6 talent. The trade for him, unbelievable. And a reminder that the Minnesota Wild, we laughed at them. Andrew and I both did. When we traded for Marat, the Minnesota Wild were exclusively, as far as I'm aware, using him in a 4th left wing role. 4th line left wing. And we were like, what are you doing? The guy's skill, he's flash, he's got this talent, this good edge work, and he's not a 4th line player. And then you find that because he empties the bucket and he's all motor, and that's where he does more of the 4th line work. Even though he's not brilliant along the boards, he still has his moments where he can come away with the puck. It was just funny that you would use him in a checking role like that, considering his size and his skill set. But the guy has an unmatchable tenacity that you can't teach. You can't teach that. I'm just wildly impressed. And I'm wildly impressed by a couple of the young players, but Khusnutdinov deserves the most attention by far. And we're going to talk about him a couple times this video because this is the Khusnutdinov video, apparently. Check out the Discord. Check out the YouTube membership program. We are adding something to that shortly, actually, which I'm excited about. It's a whole thing. We'll get there. Yeah, that's about it, right? Let's talk about the Islanders, who this is the second meeting of the season already with them. We beat them 5-2 about a week ago. They weren't super happy about it. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. They're 24th on the power play, 18th on the penalty kill, 12th in goals for, and 25th in goals allowed. Sorokin, coming into this game, had an .877 save percentage. Yikes. And then Schaefer is blowing my freaking mind, man. This kid's... I thought he should be the top overall pick, and I thought he was going to be a great player, maybe even a franchise level player. I did not expect him to come in and face non-sheltered minutes, playing 22 minutes a night at 18 years old, and look like Cale Makar. Now, maybe that's a little overkill, but 18 years old and doing what he's doing, he looks like the next Cale Makar. This dude is unbelievable on his edges. His skating ability and his quick thinking, the intuition he has with the puck, without the puck, absurd. He has 5 goals and 5 assists in 12 games played. I don't know if he got any points today. I'm not even going to check. But what he's doing is ridiculous. He is such a joy to watch when he's not playing your team. 18 years old, 22 minutes a night. On a team that's genuinely just not that good, and he's making them vastly better. When he's on the ice, it is a completely different game against the Islanders. They've got a good one. And this is scary good. One thing I liked about Cale Makar, I love Cale Makar. I couldn't believe he went 4th in that draft. He's in the West, though. Thank God. I don't want to see him all that often, and I certainly don't want to see him until the finals if this Bruins team ever gets back there. The Islanders, with Schaefer, that's a team that's going to be in the playoffs, especially when he's hitting his prime, and they're going to be a pain in the ass every time. He's going to PK Subban all over our faces, and it's going to be brutal. All right, we got to talk about other stuff here. Let's talk about other stuff. My nose is itchy. The line for the Bruins, the Lions, I should say, are going to be exactly the same as the previous game. Gigi, Kuzi, Pasta, Middlestat, Zaka, Arvidsson, Jeannot, Minton, Kostelek, Beecher, Corelli, Asamont, Zadorov, Mack, Hampus, Peak, Aspero, Yukiharu, Swayman. Let's talk about the one controversy we have going right now, which seems to be Aspero over Lohrei. Let's talk about a couple numbers before we get into the game breakdown, because I like to do this every now and again. So, I have to put a little asterisk here. First, we need to define what we're talking about. No one is advocating for Lohrei to come back into the lineup and be on a pairing with McAvoy. I can't imagine that's the argument anyone's making. That has been bad. McAvoy has looked way better since Lohrei has not been next to him. I don't think anyone's saying, hey, we need to put Lohrei back on the top pair. They're asking for him to come back in and work with Jokiharju. We're going to talk about numbers that have to do with the actual 5-on-5 play and this season. So the comparisons are a little weird. First point that I think should be made is I understand the pause from Sturm to put Lohrei in the lineup with Jokiharju, as they both are offensively minded defensemen, and you'd be worried about the defensive side of the puck there. It's hard to shelter them enough for that to be feasible. But let's talk about a couple of numbers here. And they're not going to be fair because Jokiharju and Lohrei have not been paired together outside of on-the-fly shifts while lines were changing. So we have to compare Aspero Jokiharju versus Lohrei McAvoy, the pairings, all right? These all come from Natural Stat Trick. So 120 minutes of 5-on-5 time with Lohrei and McAvoy on the ice. They have a 43% expected goals for percentage. Their on-ice save percentage, meaning while they are active both on the ice, their goaltenders have a save percentage of an 82.7%, an 827. Really horrendously bad. a 44% high danger chance for percentage, meaning they're giving up more high danger chances than they're creating. But they do basically average every 3.5 minutes giving up a high danger chance. Ignoring neutral zone starts, they start over 56% of their shifts in the O-zone. That's the Lohrei and McAvoy pair, largely offensively used. The 35 minutes of Aspero-Jokiharju, they have a 40% expected goals for percentage, so down from 43% compared to Lohrei and Mac. The on-ice save percentage for them, though, is a 95.6%, a 956 save percentage. Obviously a stark difference. Now, it's easy to say, oh, well, they're just getting better goaltending. Sure. There's also a conversation of, okay, well, are they doing a better job of not screening their goaltenders, of clearing out screens in general, of not giving up those high danger chances? They do actually give up less high danger chances than them, along with the other players on the ice, create. They have a 54% high danger chances for percentage. Isn't crazy, but it's good. They average about one high danger chance against per 5 minutes of play time. They start nearly 70% of their shifts in the defensive zone. It's not that simple, is the point I'm trying to make. People are taking Aspero's individual stats and things like that, which I typically try to look at the pairings rather than the individual stuff, because individual stuff is still very influenced by what else is happening on the ice. The Aspero-Jokiharju pairing is being used in a defensive capacity a ton. And yes, they're playing like more sheltered minutes. Let's make that super clear as well. But they also are genuinely more effective, not in the expected goals for percentage, but in the fact that their goalies aren't giving up as many goals. You could call it dumb luck of like who's getting the better goaltending. And I think that's a fair argument to make unless we can get deeper into the numbers, which I'm just not willing to do at this time because I would have to truly go through spreadsheets at that point. But the numbers aren't so vastly different in performance between when Lohrei and McAvoy are on the ice versus Aspero and Jokiharju that you can easily say Aspero needs to get kicked out. I'm not making the argument that Aspero's been good. I'm really not. Because genuinely, I think he's been fine at best. That's not like a raving review, obviously. But Lohrei was also really bad. The team keeps winning. The defensive structure looks better. I don't know what to tell you. Lohrei's going to get back on the ice. It's going to happen. Someone's going to have a really bad game and they're going to need a second. Or there's going to be an injury. He's going to come back in. And I understand, well, you're just letting him wait. You're letting him rot. He's been off for a week and a half. And he's watching the games. He's at the practices. And I'm sure he's doing individual training. I just think the concern is too high. The team's winning. I understand what the underlying metrics look like when Aspero's on the ice. Lohrei's underlying metrics are terrible too. I don't know. There's plenty of stats you can also take that like paint the picture more favorable to Lohrei. You can twist the data however you really want to, depending on what you want to focus on more. At the end of the day, I think it's so close that you're like, I don't know. Why try to fix something that isn't broken right now? Now look, if Sturm decides to put Lohrei in next game, I'm not even going to say he's wrong. Maybe he's like, okay, I want to keep him fresh, so let's get him back in for a game and see what he's doing. It's got to be sheltered minutes. It can't be up with McAvoy. It can't be, like, you have to do this the smart way. Maybe he's just concerned about the Jokiharju-Lohrei pairing, which I think last year had some nice stuff to it, so I'd have to go back and check, honestly. But just looking at this year, it's just not vastly different enough for me to be panicky one way or the other. Team's winning. Aspero has looked good enough. He had a couple brutal plays in this one. He had a couple good ones. By the way, all of these numbers are prior to this game. Right. I didn't take the time directly after the game to do this. Let's talk about this game. Shall we? Puck drops. Puck drops! And in the first period, one thing happens. 8:30 left. Very tightly defended game so far. Shots are 4-0 in favor of the Bruins. The Bruins finally break a transition with numbers. Puck gets to Zach on the slot. He dusts the puck off 3 separate like 3 times, maybe twice. But he clearly gives them enough time just to the defense to get there with a stick, and then the shot gets deflected. It was the first real scoring chance of the game, 11 and a half minutes in, and he's like, let me make sure it's nice and clean, get it settled, good. And he gets blocked. I know, if you've played at any level and you're like, oh no, that stuff closes quick and you're just trying to get the puck to lie down for a second so you can take a real shot. It's not really Zaka's fault. It just really bothered me for some reason. I will say that 5:10 left, the Islanders did get their first shot on net, so it took them almost 15 minutes. It's nice to be on the other side of that. Shots were 7-3 in favor of the Bruins at the end of the period. So that's the first period. There's nothing really to talk about. And then this game gets so wildly interesting. First of all, when's the last time you heard interesting and hockey game in the same sentence that the Islanders partook in? Islanders are changing, man. 1:10 into the second period. Zadorov is going to go for tripping. I have no idea how this was even a call. I don't even get it. And look, the Bruins got the better side of the officiating in this one. I thought so, at least. So I'm not going to complain about the refs at all. But they were all over the place. Like, they were very bad, but the Bruins definitely got, like, favored through some of it. That just happens some games. I say that sometimes, and people get really upset about it. I'm like, sometimes you're going to get the better side of the officiating. That's just a normal thing that happens. We complain about other teams getting better officiating than we do all the time. It's not a weird thing to be like, this time we got it. Nice. Anyway, it's a great kill by the PK unit. 5:11 in. This one's really frustrating to me, and I'm curious about other people's takes on this one, because the Islanders win a face-off in our zone on the glove side. The puck gets tipped to Cizikas, who's on the inside of that circle, so towards the slot, and he's able to just kind of bump it up for Duclair, who's skating through the top of the slot. Now look, I understand he's kind of hiding the puck. I understand there's other bodies there. But he just turns and rips this blocker side. It's not posting in. It's not a sniper-rooney and cheese. It's just mid-blocker side. And Swayman picks it up wicked late, doesn't make the save. It's 1-0. This bothered me because it feels like we should have expected a save there. And some people feel like that isn't fair, and some people agree. I think the visual from the back of the net shows that, I don't know, man, you probably should have seen this one coming. My take, I think Swayman should have had that one. There's going to be a more egregious one later. I will warn you, the picture that I took is skewed towards my side. Go watch the video if you really want to have a take on it. The picture is bang, bang, so that amount of space opened up really quickly. So I don't want to mislead you. I feel like I'm doing a bad job of that with the picture. But it's 1-0. And then 6:17 in, Barzal is going to go for holding. We're going to the power play. We don't get anything from it, but the power play looks awesome. It looked awesome. 9:18 in, Zadorov gets called for what I had assumed in the moment was cross-checking before he has Schaefer on his knees in front of him, and he doesn't cross-check him in the teeth. And Schaefer's holding his stick, and Zadorov tries to skate away. Zadorov turns around, looks at Schaefer, who's still holding his stick, and it's one of those moments where, Zadorov's massive. This guy's on his knees. And it's almost like Zadorov's like, I didn't want to have to do this. Puts both hands through his skull to shove him. It was a shove. Double punch shove thing. Maybe Schaefer, I don't know. People are like, Schaefer sold it. If I see fists coming at my eye level, my head snaps back too. I don't think this was some weird dive or anything like that. Either way, it goes right through Schaefer's fucking face. And I had a thought here that never came to fruition. I chuckled to myself. Who on this Islanders team is going to fight Zadorov now? Like, who's going to throw him down? No one did. And it looked like, people are telling me, and I did see this, it looked like Stern was kind of looked at Zadorov and be like, don't buy into it. They're going to come after you. You don't take that fight. I don't know if that was the messaging or not. But it does lead to a big scrum in the moment. I just expected someone to be like, hey, that's our young superstar. And there's some takes that he didn't cross a line. It was just a shove through the face, whatever. I don't know. If you do that to the 18-year-old Pasta, yeah, I would like one of my guys to come over and clock you through the chin. Maybe it's just me. I don't really get it. The whole time I was waiting for someone to do something to Zadorov. Nothing. No, not so much as a late hit or like a semi-late hit. Nothing. No one went after him. I wouldn't want that job either. Zadorov will go for interference, as well as a double minor for roughing, while Anders Lee and Duclair will also both get roughing. So it's actually just a 2-minute penalty kill rather than what could have been a lot worse. About midway through this second period, I was actually getting a little concerned with the Bruins' ability to create anything because this has been a defensively stout battle throughout, and the inside ice just wasn't there. And then, all of a sudden, 7:39 left, a great shift by the second line. It's a bad turnover by the Islanders. It leads to a middle stat steal and a Zacha chance from the slot. Save is made, but the Bruins do recover the puck, get the puck to Hampus on the left side. He feeds Arvidsson, who's on the blocker side goal line, and Arvidsson's going to do this every time you give them the puck down here. If there's not someone directly in front of the net, he's going to take it and try to swoop it right in, hoping to squeeze through 5-hole or get a good rebound. Well, this one was a good rebound, as Sorokin makes a save, but the rebound kicks off of a defender and then into the net, and it's 1-1. You create your own good luck. That's it. You want to talk about puck luck? Something I complain about all the time. Every time I play the Panthers, I'm sitting there going, God, every bounce goes their way. They just create their own luck, and it's 1-1. Unfortunately, it's going to take less than a minute to blow that. 6:54 left, which is about 40 seconds later. Geeky, skating through the neutral zone, gets stripped in open ice by Heineman. It leads to a 2-on-1 for the Islanders. Barzal on the right side feeds Horvat across the slot for a quick low blocker finish 2-1. Nothing Swayman can do about this one. Geeky, that's an awful turnover. The thing is, it's difficult with the construction of this team because every little mistake, it's huge. It's just massive. Because you just don't expect the scoring to be there for the Bruins. But the scoring right now is kind of there for the Bruins. In fact, I'm not sure where we rank currently on that, which I can check real quick. But it's not egregious. Yeah, 16th in the league. Our goals allowed is way worse than that. But we're 16th in goals scored per game. Scoring's there well enough, and the power play is 13th. The power play is humming right now. I'll take that all day, especially compared to last year. It's just the little mistakes that add up like that seem a little less damning now. Either way, I was concerned about our ability to score. We score a goal, then we give it right back, and I go right back to being concerned about our ability to score again. 3:15 left, cross-checking on Anders Lee. We're going to go to the power play, and about 45 seconds later, Zacha intercepts a puck in the neutral zone, allowing the Bruins to re-up into the power play in the offensive zone rather than have to do a full clear, try to take the zone again. They get set up. Zacha, beneath the glove side circle, looks the defense off. Love this. He knew that he had Geeky across the crease, backdoor chance. He took too long with this because I think that pass was there earlier and he didn't need to sell it as hard, but he's just staring up at the blue line like, all right, guys, I'm going to do something. And then he tries to whip it across the top of the crease. Now, Sorokin does make that initial save. Good for them, but the puck bounces back out to McAvoy, who's on the left side of that slot. He is going to purposefully shoot this low glove side, so it's a pad save out, and it goes right back to Zacha, who is a wide open net. And he, disappointingly so, does not ping the crossbar. He just shoots it into the open net. It's 2-2, power play goal. You love to see it, and you love to see the purpose. McAvoy is a very intelligent player. And when he has an opportunity like this, and there's a lot of space, there's a lot of bodies, but he goes, the best play here, because I don't think I can beat Sorokin cleanly, is to try to work a rebound to Zacha. And so that's what he goes for, and it works out well. It's just a smart play. 2:17 left, Mayfield for cross-check, and we're going to go to the power play. No dice, and the third period starts. It's a tie game. So fun. It's so fun. Well, it's not initially fun. 2:56 in, Schaefer for cross-checking. It's so soft. This is a terrible call. But we're going to do the power play. We don't do anything with it, but right after the power play expires, long pass up the ice to Schaefer, who just came out of the box. He's standing on the right corner of the blue line. He gets it. Defense has to stay with him, so he waits to Horvat, skates up, passes it across the blue line to Horvat as he takes the offensive zone. Horvat has Zadorov right in front of him. He's on the left side of that slot and beats Swayman cleanly from distance, glove side. You gotta have a save there. You gotta have a save. I don't care what the take is on this one. Oftentimes I'll ask for you guys' take. You have to have a save there. But just like that, it's 3-2. And again, you get a little worried. But this team hasn't quit yet this year. I mean, shit, even the Ottawa game was, as gross as that got, they were still doing stuff. 3-2 though. 15 minutes left. 9:20 left. Zadorov trips on the blue line, leading to a 3-on-1 for the Islanders. But Swayman makes a huge pad save to keep the Bees in it. And Swayman would have about a half dozen really good saves after he lets in that one that you don't love. So I think he worked his way back. 4:54 left. The Bruins have tied it for the third time. We went down by a goal each time. We keep tying it. It's an excellent shift, full of pressure, but eventually the puck is going to find its way to the blocker side boards. My dogs are very loud today. To the blocker side boards. Pasta sprints to compete for the puck. He does not win the puck, though. The good news is, you know how sometimes Pasta doesn't get the puck and he just kind of stands there for a moment? Well, Khusnutdinov isn't built like that. And he flies in as the second wave on the forecheck. And he strips the puck from Romanov and then bumps the puck back to Pasta, who has Mitten at the slot. Quick pass to him. Mitten knocked down as he tries to beat Sorokin. Isn't able to get it past him. Puck is kicked out by Sorokin. Khusnutdinov never stops skating. Comes right back to the slot, picks up the rebound, works his way through two bodies, gets tripped up doing so, but flings the puck past the sprawled out Sorokin, and it's 3-3. And we're going nuts because Khusnutdinov, 23-year-old 1C Khusnutdinov, is a fucking stud. Love this guy. Love this guy so much. 1:44 left. McAvoy for high sticking. We're going to have to kill off a penalty. We get to overtime. Still a couple seconds left of that penalty. We handle it. We're going to go to the shootout. Lot of skating around with the puck in overtime. Not a very interesting overtime, actually. We go to the shootout. The only player to score in the shootout was Murat Khusnutdinov. I love this kid, man. So we get the win. It's a shootout win, but I'll take him however we can get him. We are above 500. We are 8-7-0. We still have ways to work our way back to like a points percentage, a standing points percentage that is competitive, of course. But there should be some good vibes here. The Bruins won 3 in a row. Then they lost 6 in a row. And whatever the rest of the math is there, they've gone 5-1-0 since. Look, I can't tell you what the real expectation for this team should be at this point. I thought 14 games in, 15 games in, we would at least sort of know what this team is. Shit, I really thought I knew it during the 6-game losing streak, especially by game 5. I was like, okay, this is what this team is. It's very clear how much Hampus matters to this team. But at the end of the day, they stay competitive. Their shooting percentage is pretty high, but I mean, at this point, they're out shooting some teams, which is crazy to me. They're getting good goaltending for the most part, and their defensive structure is getting better with every game. They're getting more used to the man-on-man. Their switches have been cleaner when they've been forced to do so. They've gotten better about not forcing themselves into positions where they have to switch. They're more prepared for picks at the blue line. I don't know. This is just a team that's growing, and my first game note is Fraser Minten is awesome. I know this is a Khusnutdinov episode, but I've already said a bunch about him. But Fraser Minten is just this sturdy force. I mean, great defensively. Great on the penalty kill. Really, really nice plays offensively. He's not like a scoring threat exactly. He's not a great facilitator, but he makes quick, smart plays. I love this kid. 21 years old. He's awesome. Carlo got us him and a first. Insane trade. Really great work. Really great work. I hope Minten develops more offensively too, because shoot, man, he is just a hockey player you like to have. The kind of guy, he's like an Eric Stahl type, where you put him as 3C for the next decade and a half, and you're just like, I don't have to worry about that position anymore, ever again. That guy, that's his spot. Leave it alone. The weight in gold, the value that you get from any player that just goes, this is my spot. You don't need to worry about it ever again. That's my spot. Great. We're done. It's just so valuable. I love it. And on that note, look, I don't think we have suddenly fixed everything and the prospect pipeline is where it needs to be and blah, 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 blah. But in regards to centers, right now, this team is running Khusnutdinov, 23 years old at 1C. Zacha, 28 years old at 2C. Fraser Minten, 21 years old at 3C. And then Sean Corelli, 32 years old at 4C. I know that doesn't sound impressive. I know going into the season you wouldn't be like, wow, that's a strength for this team. But not only is it working, we are watching some of these players grow before our very eyes. They're developing, and they've been really impressive for large bouts of the season so far. Bare minimum, you have Fraser Minton, who you know is a 3C, a good one, and can stay there forever. Khusnutdinov, you have something in. Pavel Zacha, you trust in a variety of ways. And behind them, you have Hagens, who's hopefully our franchise 1C when he's ready to go. Now, that's putting a lot of hope on him. But even if he's a good 1C, kind of all of a sudden the center depth for the Bruins isn't that gross. Because Elias, when healthy, was starting to look like a much better player. And right now, I don't want to take Khusnutdinov off of a line with Pasternak because the way he hunts pucks is so valuable for him. But there's some real centers on this team. There's some actual center depth. Is it impressive or cup-worthy? No, not yet. But there's a roadmap. It's just a wildly different place than how bleak the center depth looked 6 months ago. I'm just finding positives here. I'm finding positives all over the place. I'm testing positive for everything. Sturm deserves a lot of credit for how engaged his team is and for his system taking root. I genuinely think that we are glossing over it too much. How great he's been. He's pushing the right buttons. People complain about some of the buttons he pushes. I've complained about some of the... I assume I've complained about some of the buttons he's pushed. I love it so far. I really think that he deserves a lot of credit just for the way this team is not quitting. The way his man-on-man defense is working, because it is working through large stretches. The mistakes are more glaring in a man-on-man defense when you do screw up, but when it works, it's suffocating. Also, he's been better about having them stand up at the blue line. It's not as easy to take the zone, forcing dump and chase more often. And I really think the neutral zone, clogging it up, has been way better. Way better. So, a lot to like about this one. This is a good old-fashioned gritty win. You take these, you know? You just take these. Go Bees. Go Bees! Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video and joining me as we experience this crazy Bruins season together. The names popping up on your screen now are from the top line tier and the all-star tier of the YouTube membership program for this YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you who help support the channel so that we can do more fun things, and I am always open to more ideas of how I can help give back to those who support the channel. At the end of the day, this channel is always going to be about the community, and I want to continue to grow that way, so please always feel free to reach out with new ideas and fun ways we can expand on this, or if you just need someone to talk to, I'm always here for you guys. Thank you all for your support, and as always, go Bees!